Here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen after a 4-4 tie and shootout win over number 19 Colorado College, and we'll take some questions.
Coach, the game felt like a roller coaster. I'd like to get your overall thoughts on it from start to finish.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and at the end of the day, it's a massive swing for us. You know, you're about to give up 3 points, and you tie it with 10 seconds left, and you win in the shootout. I mean, that's a big swing. Okay, that's, you know, as far as league play, that's what we needed. And again, I think it's just very telling of this group's makeup, their resolve, their push. They just, anytime you think it's going to be like, okay, maybe it's not our night, they just seem to find a way. And obviously we had a really good push there towards the end. And, you know, with 20 seconds left, we switch units and find a way to score with 10 seconds left, which was huge. I mean, it would have been one of those that would have been a real shame to not come out with any points. Especially of just, you know, I thought we did a really, you know, did we play our best game? No, but I thought we did a really good job throughout of just managing our emotions and playing smart. And kind of a weird one, their second one that hits a couple things and goes in. And, you know, it was definitely a roller coaster of a game. Obviously nice to come out on the right side of it. Would have liked for the overtime one to count. Time will tell. We'll look at that one and see. But good for Ilya. Obviously some massive saves by Drobes in the shootout. And, I mean, Ilya gets rewarded. I don't know how many. There's a guy in the world who's probably practiced that more than him.
How about the impact of depths? The David Deputy with 2 goals. It seemed like he had a number of opportunities that the law of averages and his persistence, he was able to get both of those, and he found himself with a number of scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, again, we felt like he's been knocking on the door, and we felt like his best game was still to come, and he was excellent tonight. I mean, you know, he was about to get a breakaway before the penalty in the second. He's in on a breakaway too. And I think it's, again, you got to imagine he missed all of training camp. So, like, what our guys did in August, like, he wasn't part of any of that. So he's still kind of getting his footing, getting his legs, getting his timing. But, you know, again, we've talked about him from the beginning, how excited we are about what he can be and bring here. And, you know, you look at some of the really successful, speedy, competitive, maybe undersized, but make up for it with their work, you know, players here in the past. We think he's going to be right in line with those guys.
Coach, how happy were you with some of your defensemen, some of the less sexy plays, but O'Coin, for example, on the PK with huge kills. Phelan broke up an almost certain goal, and Lukashevich seemed to do everything defensively.
Yeah, I thought those guys in particular, but really the D-corps as a whole, I thought we did a way better job, and it's something obviously we talked about in the press conference, and we talked about a week of just limiting chances. Did they still have chances? Yes, they are a really good hockey team. But I thought we limited chances, and I certainly thought we limited second chances, and a big part of that was the work and just, I mean, it's ugly at those net fronts. Like, that's this league, and that's what it's got to be. And if you could have saw practice this week and what it looked like both offensively and defensively, we knew it was going to be that kind of night. And that was a massive thing, you know, we talked about going into it, and I thought those guys did a good job in our end.
Obviously, you got news yesterday about Shika, finally, not the news you wanted, but is having a decision on that, at least maybe any distraction goes away? At least you know what you're dealing with the rest of the season now?
Yeah, I mean, it allows for you to move forward for sure. I think, you know, the reality, it allows for him to move forward and play hockey as well. So I think our guys handled it about as well as can possibly be handled. I think there were a million more questions from the outside than there were from the inside. Our guys just show up and go to work every day, and you know, the lineup goes up and they go. And obviously, you know, unfortunate, but we're excited about Matisse coming in, and we're really excited about Benji and Drobes and the guys we have here. So, you know, we think those guys are going to give us a chance every night. And like I said, Matisse is an elite goalie coming in here as well.
It felt like really through the first periods for both teams, a lot of pucks bouncing over sticks and guys blowing tires and just kind of a lot of dump and chase. So, like, what do you think changed to really ratchet up, like, the crispness and the pace in the third period?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, when you have two teams that have a lot of speed, like, a big part of what you're trying to do from a defensive aspect is get in their way. Get in their way and make it like a muddy track for them to try and get through neutral ice and build speed. And I thought both teams did that, you know, a lot, especially in those first 2 periods. And again, we will never ever use the word dump ever while we're here. You know, we want to place pucks and we want to arrive when they're arriving, and we want to get get pressure on them with our skating. And I thought early maybe way too many of our pucks maybe wound up behind the net, but I thought we did a really good job late and as the game went of putting pucks behind and getting pressure on their defensemen and then allowing us to get our foot in the door to play some time in the offensive zone.
And just what do you think of the progression of your guys' power play over the course of the game?
Yeah, they were. I mean, listen, it was obviously a big point of emphasis coming out of last weekend's Saturday night game. We worked on it. Troy, I thought, had a great plan. I thought he had a great message. I thought there was great detail, and I thought that they, when we needed them, I mean, that was the key point of the game. Obviously, those guys, I thought from their first power play, they got us momentum. They didn't score. Their second rep was really good. They didn't score, but like we say pound the rock. Like they kept pounding the rock, and then obviously, get a couple big finishes for us, and those were huge points of the game. And 6-on-5 is very similar. Similar to power play and just a little bit different, alignment. But that was obviously to tie it late was huge.
How about just the overall performance? There's a fluky goal that goes in, but Drobak, he battled through and, like you said, made some phenomenal saves, especially down the stretch. Yeah,
and again, I don't necessarily think we gave up a ton of chances, but we gave up. I mean, first period they get a grade A crack at him right away. They get a breakaway in overtime. Obviously, the couple shootout saves that he makes against some really elite players, and again, it's just I thought he handled the puck well. It's just what he's continued to do, which is if you saw the way he went about his business every day, you wouldn't be surprised at all that he's just as consistent of a guy that we have in our lineup.
You was it a point of emphasis to stay out of the penalty box because you did a good job today of staying out of the penalty box, way under your season average. Was that a point of emphasis this week?
I mean, it's a point of emphasis every week. Obviously, that's the margin for error in our league is so small. And, if you look at specifically last Saturday where it's a tight 1-goal game late, like special teams is the difference. And part of it is you just can't go to the well too many times. Whether that's, put your killers out over the board, same guys, it just becomes too much. But listen, one of our 3 core values here is discipline. And that's obviously discipline in everything we do. But a big part of that is just, being able to take one for the team when you need to. Drive your legs instead of reaching or hooking. And I thought we did a good job of that tonight, of really managing our sticks. And there were some times where maybe we didn't have a lot left in the tank, but we found a way to empty it when it was needed.
Physical, fast-paced game today. You expect much of the same tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the exact same type of game, if not ramped up a little bit. Obviously, there's, we feel as these NCHC weekends go on, there's not a lot of love lost between the two teams, and it gets more and more competitive. And, our guys will take care of themselves tonight. We'll put together a good meeting for them tomorrow. They got to learn, listen, and apply, and hopefully we do the same thing again.
Here with Casper Nassen after a 4-4 tie shootout win against number 19 Colorado College. We'll take some questions.
Casper, it was a roller coaster of a game, but I want to focus in right now on late in the third, the equalizer to tie things up with just 10 seconds remaining. Walk me through that shift.
I think it was a face-off with 20 seconds, and Hasey just snapped it back, which was big time, and don't know exactly what happened. I'm going to have to look back at it, but the puck just kind of popped up back door and managed to score, so felt good for sure.
You've been on a hot streak lately, points in a lot of games recently. What do you attribute to the increase in offensive output for you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to grow my game in 5-on-5 and obviously in power play too, so getting some results obviously feels good.
How crazy is the ending and just the whole game, and especially that third period, it's kind of started slow, and then just the pace just picked up. Talk about the pace of the game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a not weird, but like a little, not the prettiest win, but winners win, and this one felt good for sure.
You and Ilya have kind of been together. How can you talk about Ilya's game winner and the shootout winner?
Yeah,
how
he's
happy you are for him.
Yeah, he's obviously a big talent, and humble guy, working hard every day, and can't wait to see this guy in a couple of years.
What do you think of your guys' effort defensively, especially against a volume shooting team that likes to shoot the puck a lot through the first couple periods specifically too?
I think there's obviously areas where we need to improve, but we as I said before, we managed to find a way to win. And Drobes came up with some huge saves too. So, yeah, just happy to get the win.
What was the temperament kind of like for you guys on the bench trying to refocus during, a 10-minute break, it felt like, in the middle of overtime, and you didn't know if the game was going to keep going on?
Yeah, we were just trying to, keep focusing on if it got called off, like, we just go out there and score again. That was our mindset, and, yeah.